Hi everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. Well, over the past couple of weeks, I've been thinking about some new cooking recipes that I can share with you guys because over the last few years, I haven't done a lot of kitchen videos with you. I know that you enjoy it and I have really missed it. So today I'm going to share with you a recipe that I fix all the time for our family. It's pretty quick. It is really easy. And one thing that's really important for us right now is that this recipe is keto friendly. Now, Kevin and I and our daughters have been eating primarily keto for, well, on and off for the last couple of years, but we've gotten back to being very serious about it again for the last maybe 6 weeks or so. Along with that, Kevin and I also do intermittent fasting, and that combination has been really serving us well. We have enjoyed some of the weight loss that you would hope for with doing those two things, and we just really feel great. We have a lot of energy, we're sleeping really well, and overall we think it's just a really good combination of things for us. Also, over time, we've been thinking, this might be kind of the perfect homesteading way of life or way of eating, because a lot of what you eat on keto could easily be produced on a homestead, a small farm, or a farm. And I guess I'll get into that a little bit later, but things are just really falling into place for us with this eating style. I'm excited to share this with you today. Like I said, it's quick, it's easy, it's totally tasty, and it's also a keto-friendly meal. If you're not familiar with the keto diet or the ketogenic diet, what that means is a way of eating that very, very much reduces the amount of carbs or carbohydrates and sugar that you're eating in your diet. Generally, a ketogenic diet allows 25 to 50 grams of carbohydrates a day, and that means that you're eating primarily protein, fat, vegetables that are low in carbohydrates, and fruits that are low in carbohydrates. And we are pretty much eliminating grains, bread, sugar, high carbohydrate fruits, high carbohydrate vegetables. And because of that, we don't burn carbohydrates with the energy that we expend throughout the day, but we are burning fat instead. Now, if you are not on a ketogenic diet or you're not interested in it whatsoever, that's fine. This recipe is wonderful. We made this recipe before we were on any kind of ketogenic diet, and it is amazing, and I encourage you to try it regardless. So the recipe that we're making for dinner tonight is pan-fried sausage with onions and cabbage. It's really a one-pot meal that is very satisfying, very filling, but yet very easy. Today I'm going to be using bratwurst, some pork bratwurst from our friends at VW Family Farm. I purchased some meat from them when we were in between our pig harvests. We went down there and got a bunch of meat from them. They are a wonderful family farm that produces meat for their local community, but also they ship around the country. I encourage you to check out their website, VW Family Farm, to see if buying meat from them is something that you're interested in. I have made this recipe with their bratwurst a couple of times, and it is fantastic. Now, this recipe you can make with almost any kind of sausage, whether it's loose sausage, ground, if you like kielbasa, Polish sausage, even the different kinds of flavored bratwurst from the store. It will work and make a wonderful meal. But today I'm using this pork bratwurst from VW Family Farm. So we're going to start off with cutting our bratwurst sausages. Now there are 4 of them here. And this here is about 1 pound of meat. I like to slice them at an angle like this. I just like the way that looks. You could just cut them like a normal round. I just like that cutting them like this gives a larger surface area to fry in the pan, and I like to fry them until they're nice and brown. And I just think that cutting them at this angle like this, it just helps, like I said, more surface area for browning. So I'm just going to continue cutting all of these pieces until all 4 of these bratwurst are completely cut up. And I would say that I'm cutting these about a 1/2 inch thick. Now I've brought these sliced sausages over to the stovetop. I'm going to be using a cast iron pan that is kind of deep to do this entire meal here. I'm going to start off with just adding a small amount of fat. I'm using bacon fat in the bottom of this pan just to create a nice layer of fat on the bottom of the pan. Now the sausage itself will have quite a bit of fat, so I don't need to worry about adding a lot here. I just want to coat it nicely. I think this is just going to give it a good start here. The fat is all melted and I have this burner on a medium heat. So I'm going to start placing my pieces of sausage in the pan, and this is going to take up the entire pan with all these pieces. So I'm going to put them really closely together. We're going to let these cook here on medium to medium low heat until they're nice and brown on this first layer, and then we'll start flipping them over so they can cook on the other side. In just a matter of a couple of minutes, these sausages are nice and brown on the bottom, and so I'm going to start flipping them over so that the other side can get nice and brown also, and they can be nice and cooked through. Now, only after just a few more minutes, these are completely done. They're now browned on both sides. I did use a meat thermometer to double check that they're all within the right temperature range. They're way over 175 degrees. And so I am going to scoop these out of here with a spoon and put them on a plate with some paper towel, just to soak up some of the grease that comes off of them. But I do want to tell you that because the ketogenic diet is all about protein, fat, and fiber, which is very important, I am not going to drain the fat out of the bottom of this pan. The fat in it is what really satiates you and keeps you full until the next meal. The one thing that Kevin and I and our daughters have realized is that this diet makes you full for a long time. We're not very hungry. We definitely don't have the urge to snack. Sometimes we'll have a big lunch and then just a small dinner. Kevin and I are fasting, so we don't eat breakfast. And it seems like that is plenty of food for us. We're not having giant meals. We're actually having pretty small meals. And the fat and the protein have a lot to do with that. Now, I do want to show you on the bottom of this pan that there are absolutely wonderful bits of meat that have fried on the bottom of this pan. And this is going to add wonderful flavor to our dish here. I'm not going to wash this pan. I'm not going to scrape those bits out. I'm going to end up frying the onion and the cabbage in this pan just as it is. I don't need any more oil, but the liquid from both the onions and the cabbage are going to mix with those bits and kind of loosen them up and then incorporate all of that flavor into this dish, into this meal. It's going to be fantastic. So the next step is just to get those two ingredients ready for the pan. I'm going to start off by dicing up half of this large onion. Now, this recipe really can be what you want it to be. If you want more onion than half of a large onion, you could do the whole onion if you want to. If you don't like so much onion, then just do a quarter or leave it out altogether. But today, I'm going to do half of this large onion, and you don't really need to be so careful about piece sizes. It's going to cook down whatever sized diced pieces you would like. And before I even start worrying about cooking down that onion, I am going to cut up and basically dice up half of a cabbage. Now, another thing that's really nice about this meal is that in general, it is very inexpensive. Onions are very inexpensive, cabbage is very inexpensive, and you can really use 1 pound of meat and create an entire meal out of 1 pound of meat. You know, at least for a small family of 3 or 4, for sure. Now, the way to feed more people with this meal is to use the entire onion and the entire cabbage. It just makes that meal stretch out more. But today, I'm using half of a head of cabbage. Now I still have my sausage over here. We are not going to put this in yet until almost the very end. We're going to turn this heat on here for this cabbage. Now the onions are on the bottom in a layer, and then the cabbage is on top. And you can see that this cabbage is almost overflowing in this pot. Now it'll cook down a bunch, but if you are choosing to expand this meal and use the whole onion and the entire head of cabbage, you'll definitely want a bigger pan to cook this in. So I'm going to turn on the heat. I'm going to put this on medium, and I am just going to let this sit here for quite a while and cook before I do any stirring. It's been a few minutes now. I can smell that the onions are cooking on the bottom here, so I'm going to start stirring this. I'm just going to start kind of scraping on the bottom and folding the onions into the cabbage. It smells amazing. You can see how gorgeously golden brown this cabbage mixed with the onions have become because of that nice, those brown bits from the sausage when we first fried them. You can also see that the cabbage has wilted quite a bit. It has softened. It's given up some of its water and has mixed with the bits on the bottom. So this is almost done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the sausage that we cooked before and add it in there. We're going to mix that right in there and just continue cooking this enough to reheat the sausage pieces. Once it's all reheated, it will be done. You may have noticed that I didn't add any salt. I didn't add any pepper. I didn't add any other seasonings. And a lot of that is because of all of the sodium and the seasonings within the sausage itself. If you want to add some garlic, or if you don't think it's salty enough, or you want to add pepper or whatever, you go ahead and do that now. It would be fine. I just want to make sure that it's not too salty for us, and I know that the flavor of this, just the way it is going to be perfect. Well, dinner is finished. All I need to do is serve it up into our bowls, and we can enjoy. You guys, I hope this is something that you'll try. It is so fast and easy. It uses ingredients that are inexpensive, not difficult to find. It is very satisfying on your appetite and is friendly to a keto diet. Before we go, let me serve some up in my bowl, give it a try for you guys, and see how it is. Make sure to get a nice piece of sausage and some of that wonderful cabbage and onions. So good. So you guys, whether you are on a ketogenic diet or not, I highly recommend this easy one-pot meal for you and your family. It's very versatile. Very quick and very easy. Hey, and also if you're a homesteader, think about this. This meal can easily be produced on your land. The meat, the cabbage, the onions. You don't have to worry about things that you may not be able to produce on your farm. You don't have to worry about grains. You don't have to worry about sweeteners. This is easy to produce on your own land. Talk about sustainable. You guys, I hope you enjoyed spending some time with me in the kitchen. I have really enjoyed being back in here with you guys. If you're enjoying videos like this, make sure that you hit that subscribe button below. And remember, the best way to help us here on the homestead is just to share our videos on your social media. Until next time, thank you so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care and God bless.